That summer, the large Parker mansion stood quietly atop a lush green hill, surrounded by pristine white fences and a garden blooming with vibrant roses. The Parker family was renowned for their wealth in the town. But what made them truly special was their 8-year-old daughter, Lily, and her loyal four-legged companion, Robbie, a golden retriever with warm brown eyes and a gleaming golden coat. Robbie was not just a pet, he was Lily's protector and best friend. On sunny mornings, the little girl and her dog would play together on the green lawn, frolicking under the shade of ancient trees. Sometimes, Robbie would chase after the ball Lily threw far away and return with it clamped firmly in his mouth, tail wagging happily. That morning, the sky was clear and the sunlight was bright. As usual, Lily and Robbie played in the garden. But no one noticed a black car parked quietly not far from the mansion, hidden behind tall trees. From the car, a man in a dark coat stepped out. His face was cold, and his eyes showed no sign of kindness. He approached Lily from behind, swiftly lifted her up, and rushed back into the car. Lily's scream pierced the tranquil air. Robbie froze for a moment, then barked loudly, growling and charging forward with all his might. He dashed like an arrow, trying to block the speeding car, but it disappeared into a cloud of dust. Robbie turned around, his eyes filled with worry, and without hesitation, ran straight into the house to seek help. In the large living room, Mrs. Margaret, the loyal housekeeper of the Parker family, was startled when she saw Robbie barking loudly and tugging at her dress with his strong mouth. "Robbie, what's wrong?" she asked, her heart pounding as she noticed the dog's panicked expression. Realizing that something terrible had happened, Mrs. Margaret quickly called Chief Collins, who had been a part of the town for decades. "Lily has been kidnapped," she shouted into the phone. Not long after, a police car with flashing red lights pulled up in front of the mansion. Chief Collins, a tall man with white hair, stepped out. Robbie barked loudly when he saw him, running in circles as if trying to convey something. "You want to lead us, don't you?" Collins asked, his eyes understanding. Robbie dashed ahead, leading Collins and the police team. They sped along narrow roads, navigating each turn while following the determined golden dog's tracks. Robbie ran through a small forest, where tall grass brushed against his chest, and arrived at an abandoned shed standing in solitude. Collins signaled the officers to approach the shed quietly. Inside, Lily was tied to a chair, her eyes wet with tears but still showing a brave expression. The kidnappers were engrossed in a conversation with each other, unaware of the soft footsteps outside. Suddenly, a loud bark shattered the silence. Robbie had jumped up to the window, barking so fiercely that the entire shed seemed to echo. The kidnappers turned around, startled, but had no time to react. The door burst open, and the police stormed in. Within moments, the criminals were subdued, and Lily was safely freed. Lily could hardly believe her eyes when she saw Robbie. Tears of joy filled her eyes as she ran to embrace her loyal friend. "Robbie, you're amazing," she exclaimed, her voice trembling with emotion. Robbie circled around Lily, his tail wagging wildly as if to say, "I did it." Chief Collins watched the scene and couldn't help but smile. "This brave one deserves recognition," he said, patting Robbie on the head. The next day, the entire town knew the story of Robbie, the heroic golden retriever. People gathered in front of the Parker mansion to celebrate and thank Robbie for his courage. Lily, holding Robbie's leash tightly, proudly recounted the story to everyone. From that day on, Robbie was more than just the Parker family's beloved pet, he became a symbol of loyalty and bravery. Whenever elders in the town told stories to their grandchildren, they spoke of Robbie as proof that sometimes small four-legged friends can achieve great things.